Hey, welcome to video number 141 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things.
BNIN networking.
I am Mark Simmons. Hazel.
Yep.
Here's the thing, Hazel. I was vice president at one point of a chapter.
Mhm.
And there's this thing called the Palms Report, as you well know. And it was funny because, you know, even after a lot of the education that we would say, what does PALM stand for? And they're like, that's your palm. Well, that is true. That is your palm. But PALM stands for present, absent, late medical sub.
Mhm.
And what I loved about it as being vice president, it was a good suggestion on, you know, if I chose to use it or not, on how to keep track of things like attendance and that. And there just seemed to be a lot of pressure to get it done, and I never understood why. So, you know, sometimes I did it, and sometimes I did not do it on a weekly or not weekly basis. And I know you're thinking, now you're back to being the horrible member. But that's what I
I
do.
was just thinking, my bad member's back.
I'm back.
And now he's on the leadership team.
Yeah, right? 'Cause that's a great place to put me. So I'm figuring, my wise one, that I need some enlightenment on the Palms report and why there was all this pressure to like get it done every week and submit it.
Okay. Well, when I was vice president, it was a spreadsheet. Like it was a spreadsheet. We just hand marked it. And that was easy to do because it was just laying right there in front of me the whole time, right? So it was easy to just do it as I was sitting there. And then it went on to a computer, and you know, then we didn't have it. It was a little bit different. And now a lot of the Palms report it encompasses so much more than just present, absent, late sub. It also referrals given in, referrals given out, referrals received in and out, one-to-ones, you know, the power of one-to-one, CEUs, visitors, all of that's all on the Palms report, right? Okay, so here's why it's important that you not shortcut that report. And recently I've had a spate of issues happening at chapters. And the common denominator on every one of these is poor record keeping, right? The Palms report is record keeping. So we're keeping track of everything. And it is also the thing that helps chapters be really successful or really not successful. It's the stuff that's pulled up and put on the traffic lights and the power of one. So you have to keep it accurately, because here's the thing. In all three of these cases that I've just been working with, if the moment a member says, well, I'll just take you to court, that Palms report can be called into court as a legal document. And if the chapter and the vice president is not keeping accurate records, we could all find ourselves having a problem in a court of law.
Okay.
We gotta have, it's gotta be tracked. And here's the other piece of it is, it is also the tool that we use to hold people's accountable to the expectation of participation, right? So present, absent, see, it's present, absent, late, medical, sub. Attendance is 3 every 6 months, and it's a rolling 6 months, correct?
Mhm.
And upon the 4th, your position may be open.
Correct.
It could be also on probation. So it could go either way. And you get automated letters. And so you get days back. The letter tells you, hey, you got a day back. Or the letter will tell you, you've just missed your 3rd day, right? So now you're walking a really fine line.
Mhm.
You don't want to lose another day. So now it's, so how our policy says 3 absence upon your 4th, you may have your position open. One of the Palms reports I looked at the other day, I'll give you 2. One I looked at the other day, there was multiple people with 3 absences. Okay, but there was one person who had 7.
Wow.
And they were still a member, not an active member because they're not really participating, but clearly, but 7. So what that means is they either have to choose to put the person on probation. They've got to fix it. Or they have to allow everyone in the chapter to have 7 absences.
Right.
Right? What the minimum you accept is the maximum you can expect. So that Palms report, now if someone who missed 4 meetings got kicked out, they could easily go to court and say, I'm being discriminated against because this person had 7 and they didn't get kicked out.
Right.
So that becomes an issue. So now we're looking at that issue. And then there's the person who they weren't tracking anything, but they needed, they had a member who's causing all kinds of problems here. And here, just so you know, I'm in Indiana. So this member is causing all kinds of problems. They need to open the role, the position, but they have not kept records. So there is nothing they could really do. Now, fortunately for them, the person resigned, but there was nothing they could really do because they haven't kept records. And because the records are not there showing that it's a problem, they go, but they're always late and they don't show up. That's not what the records say. That the records do not say that.
Right.
Right. So there's no, and this person was throwing around the word legal.
Mm-hmm.
They were throwing that word around. It gets thrown around often. And they were throwing that word around. I go, but you guys wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Keeping accurate records is critical because you have to give consideration, worst case scenario, that it might be called in a court of law or with attorneys or in some legal thing, or God knows what, like, were they there that day? You know, is it an alibi? Were they there that day? There's any number of reasons that Palms report could become important.
Right.
And so it's really critical. And really, the vice president only needs to track the attendance. All the rest of it is put in by the app, right?
Right. Yeah.
I open the app and all of my stuff goes directly into the Palms report. That is the only thing that doesn't go in is the Palms. If they're on medical leave, then you just tick M. If subs, you just pick S, right? Present, absent, late. And I notice most of the chapters don't track latenesses.
Nope. There's a lot of, when I look at a lot of the chapter sponsor report, there's a lot of zeros under late.
Zero.
And that's not true.
That is not true. And the thing about lateness is if my meeting starts at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 7:50, if I come in at 7:01 to 7:15, I'm late. If I come at 7:20 or 7:17 or 7:18, I'm way beyond the open networking time. I'm absent. That can count as an absence.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of times that we forget as members is that networking is the beginning of the meeting. It's not when the formal start of the president speaking. It's networking. It's the start of the meeting.
The start of the meeting is the time of the meeting.
Yeah.
That whatever is posted, that's the start of the meeting. And if you come at 7:01, you are late.
Right.
Not 7:15. Oh, I have from 7 to 7:15. No, you don't. 7:01 means you're late. And I've just noticed that I have been noticing this for a long time. A lot of chapters absolutely don't track people coming and going. Yeah. Leaving early counts as a late.
Right. I have heard this said before that in BNI, early is on time is late.
Yep, that is very true.
Right. Because
you need to be there early for your visitors.
Correct.
Right.
They always show up really early, and they sometimes in person they show up to an empty room, yeah. And online they show up to like an empty Zoom meeting. It's just them.
I went to All Stars this morning, and I was 10-15 minutes early, but there were already 4 or 5 people in the group. There were already people in the room, yeah, having conversations. So when I came in, it was just very comfortable because there were people there and I wasn't sitting there all alone, which was fine because I kind of figured that's what was going to happen. But it was great when I got in there, and there were also other people who were early. And there was opportunity for conversation. So yeah, the Palms report is critical. And it does and can and has been called in as a legal document. So it's really
Okay.
important that we keep track of that attendance.
Yeah. So the key takeaways is like you're saying, it is a vital report for the vice president to complete weekly, not like me. Don't do Mark. Do you complete it weekly, submit it within 48 hours of the end of your meeting, or if it's the last meeting of the month, it has to be done by the last day of the month. Otherwise, it won't get pulled into reporting to you and the traffic lights, and the members will get upset because they're actually sitting in the wrong color.
Oh, yeah, they get very
Right?
upset.
They get
about
very
that.
upset when that doesn't happen, but it all comes down to the vice president. As to why a member is at 7 absences, that'll be a whole other video that we do. That's on the membership committee, and we'll get to that at some point. But for vice presidents and members to know that it is vital to complete on a weekly basis the POMS report for so many reasons. One of them being it is a legal document.
And it also sets us apart from every other organization,
Absolutely.
right? Because how many times have you gone to a networking event or it's a weekly meeting and no one's ever there? 28 people on our roster, but only 6 or 7 ever show up.
Right.
Right. So it sets us apart from everybody else. It's what makes this work. It's part of the cog.
It is. It's part of what makes BNI successful. Hazel Walker, good information. Until next time.
See you then.
Bye.